morning, everybody. Usually there are more people than this. This is so few people. I don't know what happened. Maybe they're supposed to make it. But anyway, so thanks for the panel members for coming over to review our institute. And so I'm gonna, and thank you all for getting up early to attend this report. So first I'm gonna give a brief report of the ASIAA status. So this, you all know this, the operation principle of ASIAA is that the structure is built around large projects. So unlike other institutes, they give the AS support and divide into among all PIs. And then we have large projects, so we divide the funds into large projects, and the faculty members are associated with individual projects and receive funding from the individual projects. So that's how we operate. So that's why I'm going to first report all the large projects and how their current status. So I'll start with the radio projects and then move on to the OPTO and OIR and the theory. So the most important project we have, top priority project, is ALMA. So ALMA is so we have signed contracts for the next 10 years. And we joined ALMA through two revenues. One is through East Asia, one is through North America. Through East Asia, our contribution for the first 10 years operation is through the band 1 receiver. Okay, and so despite all these, there are some rumors outside about band 1 receivers, but don't trust those rumors. And band 1 is moving steadily, and it's in the construction phase. It's being manufactured, and we project the completion date of 2022. So we hold on to this date. This is the date we set a year ago, and we still hold on to this 2022. And as for the budget issues, I think we have already solved the budget issues. There's no major obstacle for band 1 completion. Okay, and for the North America, our contribution is divided into a cash contribution, and ACDC is for the software development. And then there's green. So then there's green and telescope as our contribution to augment ALMA's performance in the variable baseline interferometer. So the ACDC, our first project, was the visualization software package. It's called CARTA. So there has been two releases of the CARTA already, and then North America, Canada, and in U.S. North America includes Canada. And South Africa, they joined the force to do the ACDC for the software development. And then for our achievement for ALMA, so by 2019, in April 2019, of all the first author papers published with the ALMA data, about 4% of all these first author papers are from Taiwan. 4%. Now remember that our contribution to the entire ALMA is about 3%. So our total contribution to ALMA is about 3%, but we publish about 4% of all ALMA first author paper. In terms of the proposals, from cycle 0 to cycle 6, cycle 7 we don't know the results yet. For the first 7 cycles, the proposals of all the proposals ALMA accepted, about 5.6% of accepted proposals from Taiwan. So now again, remember, we only contribute 3%. So these numbers are pretty good. So people have been really working hard. And you know, I'm pretty proud about ALMA folks, and they hold regular workshops and to help people write to help people write better proposals, and also keep people informed, and also deliver data, etc. So they really did a great job. Then people, of course, people are working hard, including university people. So entire Taiwan, university and ASIAA, we all work very hard on the ALMA project to achieve this result. So the next project is the SMA. The SMA, we have signed contract to renew it until 2026. And there's a WSMA, it's an upgrade to a wider band and also dual polarization for wider band. So originally it was we hoped that it would complete by 2020, but there was some kind of delay in the development of cryostat. So that's a major bottleneck. So with that delays, and everything is kind of delayed subsequently. So the completion date is projected to be 2022. And the proposal number has been kind of steady from Taiwan, and the oversubscription rate is about a factor 2. And this is, a factor 2 is not, it's kind of low. So we tried 2 different measures in order to promote the number of proposals and also promote the number of papers, okay? So the 2 things we did is, first we shared time with EAO, East Asian Observatory. So members from EAO, from East Asian Observatory can propose SMA and by collaborating with Taiwan and get time and collaboration. And then in the most recently, we decided that half the HLA time will be devoted to key project. So we'll have key projects that last for several cycles, and so they get more time. So hopefully, a key project with more telescopes can have more scientific impact. So those are 2 things we do for SMA. And then there's a Greenland telescope and VLBI. So these are kind of together. And of course, GLT is also kind of our contribution to ALMA for North America. So GLT has successfully deployed the telescope to Thule and has started to do VLBI and EHT observations. And there's a very successful press conference on the first black hole image on April 10th. And it was very successful, and it was very popular in Taiwan. It's more popular in China. It's popular everywhere. It was actually the black hole image appeared in CNN.com in the top, the most prominent upper left corner, briefly for about an hour or so. I saw it from Chile, but it can quickly disappear, replaced by Trump. So the GLT has obtained the fringes with ALMA at 230 gigahertz, but not at 345 gigahertz yet. They're working on it. So the Event Horizon Telescope, including Greenland Telescope in Thule, the results we don't know yet. They are still analyzing data from 2018. But the 2018 data, several stations from elsewhere, they have bad weather. So they're trying to do their best. We don't know the results yet. And in 2019, there are no EHT observations for M87, including ALMA. So the next EHT observation that includes ALMA and Greenland Telescope will be probably 2020, next year. So we think that the results should be spectacular. So we look forward to that. And of course, the Greenland Telescope team would like to take the telescope to the summit. So that's a very difficult task. It requires a lot of money. So in order to do that, they need to come up with a feasible plan, and they have to find partners and donors. So they really have to come up with a convincing feasible plan. And then for the ASIAA intensity mapping, which is called AIM, there are there used to be 3 components, and now there are 2 components. So the first component is using the amoeba, the YTLA Ventile array for CO intensity mapping. And so it's being commissioned and taking science data. And then the second one is TIME. It used to be called TIME Pilot, but now it's called just TIME. It's for carbon-2 intensity mapping. It's led by Teltech. So here is ASIAA do a spectrometer for it, and then there's a squid, some detector thing. And it's using the KIT-P telemeter telescope. It's led by Caltech, so we're kind of doing just kind of like supporting role. And there are some people like Patrick and Susan, they are interested in the science itself. And of course there are Ziyang and some other people, I can't name them all. And then in addition, so they got the large SMA program for CO intensity mapping. They got 500 hours, so that's pretty good. And for the intensity mapping programs, I think they really need to compare with other programs to see whether they are still competitive. So this is something that we always have to keep our eyes on, not only on our own project, but also around the world to see what are other competitors. Are we still in an advantageous point in the competition? And the next one is East Asian Observatory. So EAO is operating just only the JCMT at the moment. And JCMT is very efficient. It generates lots of exciting results, good results. and promoting collaboration. But the budget has always been a problem, especially with Japan. Now they start paying this $700K per year for the operation of JCNT. So this is something that Yale has the budget problem needs to be solved in the future. And from Taiwan's point of view, we have two large programs. One is two large programs. One is studies. The other one is it's called Evolve Stars. One for star formation, dusty galaxies. One for Evolve Stars, NASA. Okay, then we also use the JCNT in the VLBI observation, especially EHT. That's a very important note. And the publications based on JCNT papers, publications based on JCNT data is going up. So that's a very positive sign. So the EAO is seeking new partnerships from the Southeast Asia. So that's the current status. Now turn to the OIR. Subaru. So we partner with the Subaru, the Strategic Science Program, which is the HSC and PFS surveys. So the HSC survey is still ongoing. So there's a first issue of PASJ special issue reporting a lot of papers based on HSC survey data that came out last year. And the PFS is being commissioned. For the PFS, we are in charge of the metrology camera. We did so well. Xiang's team did so well, and it's finished. Then they said, can you do the PFI as well, the prime focus instrument? So Xiang said, sure. So we're also doing PFI. They're giving us money to do that. So that work is ongoing. And there's the ultimate. The Subaru has the ground layer adaptive optics thing. It's called ultimate. This we can tentatively join them, but we're not spending any money yet. Okay. So, and later on you're going to see there are several programs. We say we join them, but those programs are not final yet, because whether those programs will eventually go on or not is still not certain. So we're kind of trying to making, how to say it, just kind of putting our dibs on different projects and see which one really goes on, then we follow suit. And so ultimate is one. So even from Japan's point of view, they don't have enough funding yet. Okay, so this thing, whether it will go on or not, we'll see. Okay. And TAUS 2 contains a 3 1.5-meter telescope. It's installed at San Pedro Martir. And the construction has been completed. So the telescope is up and all the structures and everything is done. But the science camera is not ready yet, so it will be ready. I think the last year I said it will be taking data in the beginning of this year. But the science camera is not ready yet until maybe in October this year. And hopefully the regular operation will start in late this year, but I'm not going to promise too much. So I say maybe in early next year, 2020, they'll start the regular operation. And for CFHT is a really, it's not a major investment for us. So we spend a little bit of money to buy some telescope time. And currently there's a new instrument, SPEW, is a high dispersion, kind of like shell spectrograph with a polarimeter capability. So that's very important for star formation and for planet search, that kind of work. So there's a legacy survey for 300 nights in 4 years, and we joined it. No, we don't spend for 300 nights. We have like 3 people joining this program, so we contribute our portion of our share of this time. So it's a very small investment, but they can get a lot of data. Okay. And then for Spica, we kind of have this on and off relationship. So Spica itself is kind of like a life and death and live again lifetime. So ESA has already selected Spica as an M5 candidate, and the phase A study is ongoing until 2021. So we kind of do 2 things. One is we participate in Safari, that's an instrument with Europe, and that we do the calibration source for Safari. And to Japan, it's JAXA. I think it's JAXA. So we're doing the meeting for array module and calibration lamp for SMI instrument. So in 2021, we'll know whether the project will go on or not. If it's selected for final execution, then we'll complete these projects. But now we're still working on this, just kind of doing this work for the phase A study. Well, and for the science, so the Subaru, HSC, and PFS, so these are the group science, not including individual PI science. For the Subaru, HSC, and PFS, we don't have data yet. So HSC is ongoing, and the Sloan Digital Sky Survey core, that's a manga. So Li Hui and Yinting, so they're using the data, doing a lot of work with their team members. And the CFHT Subaru Legacy Survey, I already mentioned that. And then basically the science topics that they do are star planet formation, star formation in galaxies, and galaxy structure and evolution. So these are the major, and there's, of course, there's cosmology. Yeah, cosmology is so obvious, I didn't even list in there. Okay, so for the theory, you see that I changed the name. We don't mention Terra anymore. It's theory group. So to symbolize that it's a new start. So the theory group. So new people, we have young people, dynamic people, very productive people. They get together, they organize a theory group. They say, they're going to work together and do the simulation stuff. So the kind of science they're doing is making protostellar disk and planet formation, and there's galaxy formation and evolution, and supernova explosion and feedback in early universe. So these are very attractive topics. And what's even more exciting is that in Taiwan, the Tsinghua University and Physics Institute at AS, they recently hired people doing supernova explosion. So these people can all collaborate with us. So in fact, these young people, they're all collaborating together, they're organizing workshops and getting students and getting postdocs. It's very nice. I'm really pleased to see such an active collaboration between university and AS, both physics and astronomy institutes. What they need is, right now they need high performance computing. So that's the thing that they don't have yet. So they have to, so for Ken's case, he goes to Japan to ask for time, or to use it from the US. And Ming can use the
national cluster.
Yeah. So where do you get your money from most? Is it adequate? Do you still want this? Yes. So we have all these young, promising, really nice, good scientists. They really need this. So if I can, I'll try my best, try to fulfill their wish. Okay. Now now I'm going to go through a bunch of numbers. So this is the AS budget, the budget for the Academia Sinica. So divided among all different, this is for physical science division, the 数理组. So these are all different institutes and centers. And you see that ASIAA is about 17%. So as Winnie always says that, how come the physics institute, they can hide a lot of budget in there, right? So they basically only have 15%, we have 17%. They always complain, say, so you astronomers, you get such a large chunk of the budget. This is really kind of unfair. But astronomy is just astronomy and astrophysics together, just one piece of pie. Here's the physics, and there's atomic and molecular science. The difference between physics and this is that they have a lot of overlap. In addition, there's applied sciences. Okay, and the overlap is huge. So the physics, applied science, and this together, that's 32%. Okay, so something stuff related to physics is really 32%. They split into 3 parts. Okay, so how do we split? Can we split? It's hard, right? So all these institutes say, well, we don't have anything in common with astronomy or astrophysics. So earth science and there's environmental, one of those. So earth science, it looks small, 8%, but there's an environmental thing there. So I think it's this, right? RCE It's how you split into two or something. Right. So whenever I go ask for money, they always say, you know, Astronomy Institute already have a large budget, so we cannot give you more. So this is something we need to have to, think about this. So this is the annual budget from ASIAA. So this includes both money from AS and from most from the grant. So you look at this number, you look at the top boundary, the top, the envelope here, it looks kind of depressing. No, it's not that bad. Don't worry. So in 2019, it looks very low because the most grant is only up to half a year because the changeover is in the middle of the year. So a lot of people have new proposal in, so we don't know the results yet. So the most grant only has half of it. Okay. So the most grant is the light purple thing. Most rupiah. So this is a light blue thing. So it looks like smaller than usual, but that only contains a half of the grant. Okay. So the last half a year is not assigned yet. We don't know. And the base budget from AS is kind of like there's a small decline, very small decline. And then the most obvious thing you see is the red part. The red part is the so-called end-of-year money. Okay. So in the past, we get a lot of end-of-year money, but last year we get very little. Why? Because the person who's in charge of giving out money, the previous person, he was ill. Was it a heart attack or stroke or something? So he was replaced by a new person. And the new person, well, although we have good relationship with the whole office, but the person who's leading the office, we don't know what he's thinking. What she's thinking. So she didn't give us a lot of money. So that's all the end of year money we got last year. So this year, we don't know. Okay. So that's the situation. Okay. So we don't know about the end of year money yet for this year. And this is an allocation of AS budget funds for all different projects throughout the years. So there are some up and downs. Sometimes it's because we pay the bill in the beginning of the year or end of the year, or sometimes kind of cross the boundary of the fiscal year. So don't pay too much attention to these detailed up and downs. And Green Telescope has this large expenditure in 2017 because that's when they deployed the telescope to Thule. So that costs a lot. So you look at this chart, there's not much you can save money. So that's kind of all we needed. And this is the sum. So the support from 9-year support, 2011 to 2019, for different projects, how much support they have received. So there's only for GLT there. So this is only for AS fund. Okay, and there's also the most funding. So the most funding ALMA will go up higher. The most funding for ALMA is not included in here, and GLT also here. So only GLT and ALMA receive additional most funding. And those are substantial. Others, like the individual PI grant, is not a lot. So this is 2019. So this year is the allocation for different projects. 2019. There's nothing alarming here, so it's like that. All right. Now remember that last year we said we were asked to do a strategic plan and we kind of failed. And it didn't go very far. And there was strong resistance to ranking. So this year we said, so I said, no, it's embarrassing. We can't even come up with a strategic plan. All right. So this year, in our faculty retreat, so we changed the strategy. So we had this faculty retreat on May 1st. So we decided that all the process, so we really need to not reevaluate, it's just say examine all the projects we have and see how we go on. We really need a plan. Whatever plan you call, budget plan, strategic plan, whatever you call it, but we gotta have a plan to go forward. You cannot just go from year to year without a plan. Okay, so we decided all projects have to submit a plan or proposal by June 15th. So we don't just work for the panel, we work on our own. So even if the panel didn't ask, well, we still want to complete something this planning. Okay, so all projects will submit a plan or proposal by June 15th. So in this plan or proposal, they have to list the scientific goals and the project duration to achieve goals. So in the past, there's no project duration. So for every NASA space mission, so first they have to come up with a nominal mission period, right? So for Chandra, it was like originally 5 years, then extend for 5 years, then another 5 years. So if something works well, you can extend it indefinitely, no problem. But you have to, so for every proposal, you gotta have saying, wait, this is this for a 5-year period or something. So we'll do similar things. So you come up with a project duration and how you achieve the goal. Okay. And you have to detail the budget and expected achievement. So all these plans and proposals will be reviewed. So first we internally review. So there are different opinions about whether we should have external review or not. Okay. So I say, so first let's just do it internally. If we cannot come up with an agreement, then we can solicit some external opinions. So as Minjie said, we should really think for the Institute as a whole, not just my own project. We really have to think about for the entire Institute as a whole. So particularly, I just thank Minjie for sacrificing his own project so that Ben Wang can get enough money to go on. So he's using himself as an example. No, he didn't say that, but he's a really good example. He's thinking for the Institute as a whole, not just for his own research. Okay. Now let's about the hiring, the staffing issue. So this is a chart for the faculty slots throughout the years. So when we at the peak, this is at the peak in 2014. We're at the peak. We have 46 slots. And now we're only using 45 slots. So they still always work.
Can you say something? What's the classification for assistant?
Oh, the assistant.
Faculty. I mean, actually faculty slot.
Yeah, assistant. So what are these assistants?
We have some level called the technical assistant and research assistant. They are still coming for our faculty slot. They are not our faculty, they are occupied.
Okay, so all the research assistants are three equivalent
We have
slot.
Yeah. The whole institute, because it's a long history. So before, when we have a very young institute, we need to hire someone to help the institute, because we want to give them the more promising future. So we use the faculty slot to support those guys. So those 3 persons is not different. They are different with our contract staff. They have something like, we cannot say they are similar job, but they are.
What's the Chinese name for it?
Huh?
What's the Chinese name?
技术助理，
技术助理。They are not like research assistant or teaching assistant, not that kind. At much higher level. It was just a title. Invented a long time
I'm just never aware of 3 of these research assistants actually.
These are one research
Also
assistant,
faculty
2
slot.
chemical assistant.
So we have recent hires. So last year we hired Tang Tang and Siwei. And this year we just operate. And so, okay, I have Richard put in green. It's not because he's PPT. So he's in the technical track. Okay, so not in the research track, not in science track like that. And this is Hindian, he just accepted the offer. So they all have accepted the offer. And there are the temporary transfers, like a leave of absence, Nakayoshi and Siska. Okay, so here's the distribution of all the faculty members. So 5 years in each bin. So in 5 years, these people will be gone. So there'll be four slots open, and plus we list kind of 4 slots open. So in 5 years, so that's 5 years from now. Some of them are retiring within the 5 years. So you can see that how many new faculty members we can recruit in the future. Of course, the new director would, if it's a new person from outside, then I don't know if they'll be counted against this. Probably not. And this is faculty rank as an age, in terms of age in different ages. So this will be all this file will be online. You can study this in your spare time. Okay. Now the publication. So Emily has compiled this publication. So you look at it. So it keeps on going up. And these are the Planck paper. So in this past year, so the number has grown significantly. But you look at the first author paper, it's kind of reached a steady state. In 2017, there was a spike, and that's because we have like 3 very productive postdocs. They contribute to the spike. For example, Toba has 4 first author paper, so they can take it, one postdoc alone has 4 first author paper, and then there was I think Rosemary has 3 first author paper, so 2 of them together contribute to 7. In this, that's 10%, almost 10%. 2 people contribute to 10%. And this year, in 2018, we kind of reached kind of normal, they can reach about 60 or so, 61 first author paper. And have a lot of these co-author papers. As I said, I always tell people, you should do your first author paper. And why is there there's a huge surge of this co-author papers? So JCMT has a lot of papers, and there are some other collaborations. JCMT has many large programs, and these large programs include a lot of people. So this surge of papers. Well, if I present this result to the AS, of course, I say, look, we have a lot of papers, but seriously, you ask yourself, are we proud of this? Are you proud of papers that you're just one of at-alls? Have some respect to yourself. Write first author paper, please. Okay, if there's one message I'm giving to you, please write first author papers. I would much rather see the first author paper number go up significantly. Okay, so from this year, projected from this year up to now, this is up to the middle of May. So look at this projection. I think this year we're going to exceed the last year. So it will be even better. But please, I would rather see this blue line go up. Okay, first author paper. That's very important. I'll give you one example. I won't give you a name. So there's one person applied for a job at University of Illinois, and he has like 150 papers. He wasn't even long listed because he has only 1 first author paper. The others are all collaboration papers. He wasn't even long listed. Okay. So those are just normal papers. Then to gauge our overall achievements, so we can look at the prizes. So last year, I was very proud to tell you that we finally had the first outstanding research award for Junmei Lee last year, and this year we have another one. And KG just received the outstanding research award. And just tell you how difficult this is. So for our division, and it's a non-condensed matter division, so it's a physical science and non-condensed matter. Usually there are about 30 nominees. And among the 30 nominees, they select 10 for external evaluation, and out of the 10, they select 3. Okay, so this is the top 10% of the top scientists in the division. Okay, and he got it this year. And despite there are a lot of protests from physicists, they say, so astronomers, you guys have been getting awards in the last few years. We can't give you awards anymore. But still, they are too outstanding. They cannot be ignored. So I'm very pleased with the results. And last year we have two research awards for postdoc fellows. We had Tang Tang and one more. Tang Tang. Same Tong, okay. So two of them got awards. And this year we have two again, Shohai and Pei. Okay. So let's see, how do we stack up against the rest of the AS? So this is an outstanding research award from oh, it's not AS. No, yeah. These are awards from most, but these are the awardees from AS in the Academia Sinica. So only seven people got awards. Okay, and we're one of the seven. Okay. And he just got this award like last Friday. So he is 900,000 richer than before now. Okay, and as for the postdoc research award, so from the entire AS, only 16 were awarded, and we have two of them. So we're really doing really well. Very good. Okay, then in addition, so these are the awards from Taiwan. And then from outside the world, outside Taiwan, so PASJ, every year they select one excellent paper, only one. For the entire year, it's one paper. And Taipei's paper was selected. I think, KG, you got one before.
As a poster, my former postdoc Nobu got the prize as fastest.
Okay.
When he was
but Taipei got it for the 2018 papers. So he just received the award just a few weeks ago. Okay. All right. Now, so those are the awards from most and elsewhere. And as for Academia Sinica, there are also awards. So this year, Taipei also got a Career Development Award, and Qingbei got an Investigator Award. And there's a Junior Research Investigator Award. We don't know the results yet. So last year, I said, nobody applied. And thank God we have one applicant this year. So waiting for the results. I called them, they said they'll be announced before the end of this month. So we still have 3 days to wait. Okay? All right? So far, in our institute, so we have 4 people currently are holders of Career Development Awards. So Patrick, Yanting, Li Hui, and Hefei. And for the Investigator Awards, we have 3, Siska, KG, and Qingbei, 3. So this is a really good record, okay? And so you can be very proud of yourself. All right, and I'm proud of you. Okay. So how do we do? So budget-wise, overall, it's kind of going down slightly. We really need a plan. We have to make a plan for the budget. Think about the future. And for all the different projects, GLT, House 2, Subaru, and so milestones have been met. So they're all doing well, doing great, okay? And there's a very successful press release for EHT image of the supermassive black hole in M87. That was a huge thing in Taiwan. And we have publication awards. It's very, very good, but first author papers can be increased. Please, write more papers. And as for, okay, you all know we're looking for a new director. The future leadership, there are 2 things, okay? One is locally in our institute. So all these people, to nurture and to develop future leadership, that's very important. And I'm very pleased to see many people, I won't give names, I see a lot of people stepping up to get a leader position. And they're all growing nicely, they're taking up responsibility, and I'm really happy to see that. Okay. And as for the director, good luck. I don't know what to say. So I think we have good internal candidates, and outside I don't know. So and we'll see. But I think the future is bright, and as I said, it's promising. As I said, I'm most pleased to see local people, the institute members, growing up to be in the leadership position. I'm really pleased to see that. So I'll just end there. What is okay? So that's it.
generation of
Next generation, what?
instrument
Instrument.
Optical.
like me, yeah.
Next
What's,
gen-
yeah, what's the
Okay, so the OIR has been talking about TMT and GMT, and even some other things. So there was one thing I didn't mention. There was so the OIR group, the instrumentation is going to work with the ELT Mathis instrument, but that's a very small investment. We're talking about 26, like 100K a year with a 2.5 FTE per year. So that's a really small investment. So I didn't even mention it here. So that's a very small investment. But we're still looking at TMT and GMT. There's no real need because neither is going anywhere, right? So right now we're just working on this SPICA and PFS, PFI, to complete the current project. Any other question? Okay, so then we move on to the next.
Papers, and this year we already have about 26 submitted first of the papers until now. So in terms of number, it's very good. And I hope in the next half hour I will convince you in terms of quality, it's also very good. I will first show you the science results from our new faculty, Hao Yu, and Tang Tang and Si Wei. Those are new faculties we hired in the past year or so. But the results I'm going to show you are actually the result they did here after they came here, rather than something they did in their previous position. So the first one is by Tang Tang, and she used CSO, the Sharp 2 polarimeter, to study the star forming region in this G34.43 cloud. And with Sharp 2, she can trace with the polarization, she can trace the magnetic field. And she also used around 30-meter telescope for the N2H plus emission line to get kinematic information, which will tell you the turbulence in these clouds. And then she used Herschel from the dust continuum. She can derive gravity in these regions. So she found that over large scale, the three different regions have different contribution from gravity, magnetic field, and turbulence. And the relative importance of these three changes when you go to smaller scale. In the smaller scale, you can see in this case, when gravity dominates, there is no fragmentation. You just see one collapsed core. And then in the region where magnetic field dominates, the field line is aligned with the filament, and the fragmentation is aligned with the filament. Then in this cloud, the three components are roughly equal, so you have the cluster fragmentation. So this works tell you the difference in magnetic field, gravity, and the turbulence can give you different kinds of fragmentation. Bao studied the spectral slope of protoplanetary disks. In the sub-millimeter and millimeter region, the spectral slope is first given by the Rayleigh-Jeans slope of alpha equal 2 plus the spectral slope produced by the dust grain size distribution. So you have if you have a small grain, the spectral slope will be very steep. But in some disks, like this one, the Hydra, people found the spectral slope in the center is shallower than 2.0, and many people think that's unphysical. But it turns out with the simulation, Bao is able to show that if you have scattering from the dust, you can get a spectral slope even shallower than 2.0. So you can explain the observed shallow slope from some of the disks. So now we know the scattering do not only produce polarization, it can also change the spectral slope. So now we have 2 probes of scattering from dust improve the planetary disk. And also from Baba, he and a student from Tsinghua University used JVOA and ALMA to study this star-forming region, this cloud in NGC 1323. He measured the polarization with both ALMA and JVOA. He found that in the dense region, in the core here, where the temperature is higher, there is a 90-degree turn in polarization measured between ALMA and the JVOA. The reason is that JVOA sees optically thin dust, so JVOA sees the polarization consistently throughout the entire region. When you use ALMA to look at the center, the core has higher temperature and the radiation is more thermalized. So ALMA, the radiation from the optically thick region is unpolarized. But that unpolarized radiation has to go through the foreground polarized optically thin dust, and some of that get absorbed by the optically thin polarized dust. So what goes through will give you a 90-degree turn in polarization. So that's the first time people are able to confirm this called dichroic extinction from star-forming region. And that can give you constraint on the dust grain size. And Siwei studied HL tau using ALMA. This is the very famous HL tau dusty disk image from high-resolution ALMA observations. Here, Siwei observed the HCO plus line in this area. The white ellipse corresponds to this dusty disk observed by ALMA. And he removed the axisymmetric component to see the infalling gas stream to the disk. And if you look at the velocity field along the gas stream, what you see is that to explain the velocity field, you need both capillary rotation plus infall. So this is accreting gas from its environment. And also from the density profile in the gas, you see a discontinuity here. And that radius corresponds to an inner gap in the dust image. What this tells you is that the gap you see in the continuum image is not caused by dust changing dust property. Rather, it's a real density change. Otherwise, you will not see that in the HCO plus image. So that again confirms that there is a planet inside, causing the gap both in dust continuum and the gas. And from Yopa's talk, you learned that quite a few of us earned research awards from either MOST or Academic Sinica or from outside. The first one is Tepe's work. He used a large program on Subaru, observed with the FMOS spectrogram to study the high-ratio galaxies. And with the survey, he can study emission line galaxies. With imaging from CFHT, he can study the alignment of galaxies with the large-scale mass distribution. And that turns out to give you the growth rate of large-scale structure, and you can compare that with various gravity theory. And his result is here. It's the highest ratio measurement of this, and it's still consistent with general relativity. And for this work, he was awarded the PSJ Excellent Paper for last year. And also, he won the AS Career Development Award this year for his various studies on cosmology, gas information, and structure formation. One of them is the one I showed you in the previous slide, the alignment between galaxy and the large-scale mass distribution. He also studied the KSZ effect from clusters using Planck data and the SDS system. On the theoretical side, he also studied the dark matter halo boundary that's caused by the splashback distance. And also, the power spectrum of dark matter halos, he came up with a more accurate description of the power spectrum. That kind of accuracy is required by future large-scale surveys like the PFS survey. So for all his work, he was awarded the AS Career Development Award to conduct new studies. And I showed you this slide last year, so I will not repeat it. It's from Pei. For his work, for this work, she was awarded the most research award for postdoc. This is from Shohei Aoyama. I also showed this slide last year, so I will not go into the detail. For his cosmological hydrodynamic dust formation simulation, he was awarded also this year, last year, for the most research award for postdocs. And this year, he took one step further to compare his simulation with observations. In this case, the observational results from our JCMT large program called studies. He compared the inferred luminosity function from his simulation and also from our observations. So I believe this is the first time people are able to do this for dust formation simulation in a cosmological context. And Qingfei studied this disk using ALMA. First, you can see the continuum image. There is a hamburger-shaped age-long disk. You see a dark layer in the middle. That's because dust layer is cooler, so more optically thick along the mid-plane of the disk. And also, you see the very narrow jet, and the jet is rotating. The velocity gradient you see along the jet is consistent with the rotation of the disk. So that tells you the jet is also rotating. What this means is jet can carry angular momentum away. And also the jet is very narrow, something like 0.05 AU. That tells you the jet launching region is also very narrow. And this is consistent with the X-wing model. For this, he was awarded the AS Investigator Award this year. Qingfei also studied the magnetic fields in the jets. Here you see the HH211 jets in the infrared, and with ALMA, you can image the SIL jets. Here you see the disk, the jet, the redshifted, the blue shifted component, and the polarization in the SIO emission. If we believe the magnetic field is perpendicular to the polarization, that probably tells you the configuration of the magnetic field in the jet is like this. And this is his paper last year. And this year he has new data for another SIO transition, which allows him to study the opacity, the optical depth in the jet, which will give you a better description of the magnetic field in the jet. So stay tuned. Maybe next year we will have something new to show to you. And Keiichi studied cluster formation and using strong and weak lensing data over the past many years. For example, he studied the cluster density profile using weak and strong lensing for several clusters, and their profile is consistent with the MFW profile. He also studied the projected axis ratio of the clusters to test it against lambda CDM. The result is that the observed shape of cluster is consistent with CDM model. He also used lensing data to constrain the so-called splashback distance in the clusters. I believe I talked to you about this last year. So for all this work, he got the most outstanding research award. Next, then we move to this one. You'll know what this is. I don't need to tell you. I also don't need to tell you the scientific significance of this work. What I'm going to tell you is what's our contribution to this. First, you know that the imaging of this M87 black hole was done independently by 4 different groups. People led one of the imaging group. The leader is Shoto Koyama, who is a postdoc in our institute. You can see that from all the 4 groups, images of the black hole is consistent. They all look like a ring, and the bottom half of the ring is brighter. This is a very important test to make sure that we can trust this result. And our people led one of the 4 teams. And also, our people led the ALMA proposal for the M87 EHT observation. The reason we can do that is because in the past several years, our people, Keiichi Asada and Masa Nakamura, studied the M87 jets in very detail. And I also believe last year I showed you their M87 jet result. Because of their long-term work, M87, they did this ALMA proposal. And I don't think I need to remind you how important ALMA is for this event horizon telescope result. Now in the next 10 minutes or so, let me move to results from individual PIs. This one is SMA and ALMA results from Sun Yuan, who studied this massive star-forming regions and observed it with SMA and ALMA in multiple epochs. And he found that from this core, the brightness goes up and then goes down. So this is among the very few high-mass star-forming regions that are known to have variability. We know in low-mass star-forming regions, we have many cases that people found variability, but now people move to high-mass star-forming regions. For SMA results, Naomi and students studied the role of Filters A clouds using SMA and other telescopes. You can see the continuum image here, and also continuum N2H plus and C18O. What's interesting here is that the C18O can only be detected along the boundary of this structure, not from inside, because maybe there's no heating source inside. The heating source is from outside. So along the ridge, the CO molecule is freezed out onto the surface of dust grains. There are external heating sources, so you can observe CO from the 2 sides of the ridge. And observations like this tells you the physical and chemical conditions of star-forming regions like this one. And also HL tau. You saw the ALMA result from Siwei for the HL tau. Now, Naomi and collaborators observed HL tau with SMA over a larger scale. For C18O, you can see the Kepleri rotating disk from the inside, because this transition is more optically thin. From HCO plus and 13CO, you see the large-scale infolding gas envelope. The velocity gradient is perpendicular to the disk, which tells you the gas is inflowing onto the disk. And that's consistent with the picture I showed you earlier, is gas inflow to the disk. On the theory side, this is the result from Ming Kai, who studied dust settling onto the midplane of protoplanetary disk. You know, to form planets, you need to have enhanced dust content in the midplane of disk. That's not guaranteed to happen, especially when you have turbulence on the disk. So Ming Kai studied a turbulent disk whose turbulence is produced by vertical shear instability. And he found that even with that turbulence, you can still have dust settlement onto the midplane. And when the local metallicity is higher, the settlement is better. So this can happen. And Mika studied also disk formation using MHD and radiative transfer. Here is the simulated images of this, for large scale and small scale. You can see the gas inflow, and also in small scale, you can see the precessing disk. More interesting here is that in these two cases, when the initial rotation is aligned to the magnetic field, the magnetic field can prevent the formation of this. So you don't see a disk here. But when there is a misalignment between the rotation and the magnetic field, actually this can form, even without turbulence or without any other way to suppress magnetic field. He also simulated observed polarization here. So this can form, even when there is magnetic field. Now let's move to the larger scale. With Hypersprang data, Yoshiki Toba, who used to be our postdoc, and who left us last year to become a JSPS fellow. While he was here, he used Hypersprang data to study radial gases. Previously, when we studied nearby radial gases using shallower survey like Sloan, the conclusion is that this kind of gases have no dust, no gas, very little star formation. They are all massive elliptical galaxies. But once you have Hypersprang, once you are able to detect fainter radial gases from higher redshift, the picture completely changed. At higher redshift, we found radial gases can be very dusty, can be much less massive, they can have very high star formation rate, and they have very high luminosity. So this new result tells us radial gases are not necessarily that ellipticals, unlike the local ones, if you move to higher redshift. And also, Hongyu studied green valley galaxies. Green valley galaxies are those between the red sequence and blue clouds, and many people believe those are galaxies transiting from the blue cloud to the red sequence. Or another way of saying that is that they have quenched star formation in these green valley galaxies. So from Hypersprang data, we studied green valley galaxies in the field, in the cluster environment, and in the group. So he found that for all these redshifts, the fraction of green valley gases increased for higher mass and also increased for dense environments. I tell you, over this very broad range of cosmic time, you have gas quenching inactive. Active in this massive and also dense environments. And as you know, we are a member of Sloan 4. So using Sloan 4 manga data, we studied quenched galaxies using the IFU data. So here she showed the concentration of quenched region. That's the quenched speckles in each galaxy. And see that how those quenched regions are concentrated. If its concentration index is low, that means the quenching could be from outside in. When the concentration is high, it's more consistent with inside out quenching. And the observed data are here from 4,000 galaxies from Sloan 4, and ratio lower than 0.15. So we can see that most of the galaxies are probably more consistent with inside out quenching. And she also studied the fraction of inside out quenching and also fraction of outside in quenching galaxies in different environments. That's the mass of the dark matter hill, and also as function of stellar mass of each galaxy. You can see that the fraction of quenched galaxy goes up toward the more massive environments or more denser environments. And if you look at the outside in quenching galaxies, you see that the fraction of such galaxies does not change with either stellar mass or the environment. So that's probably not very consistent with the idea of rain pressure stripping, where you expect the number of quenched galaxies, especially the outside-in quenched galaxy, goes up in denser environments. Now move to a very nearby universe, the solar system. In this work, Marco studied the formation of Jupiter family comets. This special family of comets are supposed to be scattered from the Kuiper belt. And in the past, people have difficulty explaining the number of Jupiter family comets using just the 4 major planets and the Kuiper belt object. To do that, you need a large number of Kuiper belt objects to produce the number of observed Jupiter family comets. Now he put 34 dwarf planets in the Kuiper belt, and that boosts the number of Jupiter family comets in the simulations. And the overall 12% increase in the number of Jupiter family comets is what's necessary to explain the current number of what we observe. And the required Kuiper belt objects in this model is around 1 times 10 to the 8. That's order of magnitude smaller than what previously people think without 34, without some number of dwarf planets in the Kuiper belt. And this number is more consistent with the current estimate of number of Kuiper belt objects. And in this work, Rosemary studied the Haumea family trans-Neptunian objects. Haumea is a large TNO, and there's a family, that means a bunch of other smaller TNOs share similar orbits, such as inclination and semi-major axis. And to understand the formation of this family, he simulated various scenarios, including catastrophic collision when 2 larger bodies collide and produce many small bodies. That will give you a steep size distribution. And with just grades of merge, you get a shallow size distribution. That's from his simulation. What you need to do next is to compare with observations. Observational data actually come from the OSAS survey, which is a CFHD large program for the outer solar system. This survey gives you a systematic handle of both discovery efficiency of Kuiper belt objects and also recovery efficiency of the small bodies they found. So that allows you to do statistical analysis. And the result is that it's more consistent with catastrophic disruption. So finally, the YTLA array is still commissioning. Last year, as I understand, a bunch of students from Hawaii to join the commissioning. The students use YTLA to measure N2H class, methanomaser from Orion A clouds. So you see the 2 detections here. Another student detected HCN120, HCO class, and dust continuum from Orion KO member with just 10 minutes of integration. Another student used the moon to conduct flux and testing integration. So the science is going on. I believe very soon we will hear more science results from YTLA array. So I think I will stop here and take questions.
Will the results on the estimated number of KBO objects have any impact on what you expect with Taos?
I think the current Taos 2 estimation already use more conservative numbers, so this is not going to impact too much about expected event rate. Yeah. No more questions?
all the basic survey design and concept. I want to emphasize that this is collaboration among Japan, Taiwanese communities, and also the Princeton University. So Taiwan is a big major component of the international collaboration of Subaru's agency surveys. 300 nights have been allocated since 2014. We are expecting to finish the survey by 2020. It consists of 3 layers, white, deep, and ultra deep. In particular, the white survey is aiming to surveys over 1,400 square degrees. This is quite deep and unique compared to the competing surveys like DS, US. We can still go to the can get down to the faint end of the luminosity function, the Wang galaxies, and also beyond. So this is useful for the any executive studies and also the weak ranging. The current full depth full current area, however, is over 500 square degrees. This is very well below the expected survey rate. This is partly because the stringent observing conditions required for the weak ranging in I-band, the weak ranging in the key science. But these conditions have been relaxed since last year, and we are improving the survey speed. And this is where to see survey status. So the white, deep, the deep, and especially the white surveys are composed of the spring and fall solid regions, plus northern hectomap regions. So the last year, because of the earthquake and El Niños, everything, so our survey speed has been very slow. You see the figures. We are hoping to fill the gap, especially in the fall regions, right, around the XMM and other regions. Yeah. Maybe we're hoping to get down to maybe 800 square degrees by the end of the surveys. Publication and manpower. So as reported last year, and also touched by the YOFAS, so we had a successful special issue of the DR1 science, 40 papers submitted, and Taiwan-based collaborative scientists with big contribution to that. Then since that summer, IA researchers published 3 first author papers and 1 submitted. And actually all the postdocs, they are doing very good, great work. And I'm happy for them. The more challenging recurrent papers led by IA to come very soon. 1 led by Enon and 1 by myself. And so far, we have been very productive thanks to the dedicated postdocs, junior researchers for the DR1 science. But in the last 4 years or so, more than several people have left IA, and some left the field. They are doing very good, very well in the industry as a basic scientist. So this is good and bad. So we are doing very good. So we can find job. But for the DR2 science, I think we see that we need more people, junior people, to really dedicate work in the DR2 science. That's going to happen from now and for the upcoming PFS survey. The good news is that the Baojing has been promoted to the academic syndicates specialist from the supporting side. So this is really good, very good news because we need him to really do obtain data here and reduce data and also for many things. Other science activities and leadership roles are played by the ASIAA people. So we have actively participated in all the science working groups. And in particular, the current co-chairs of the working groups are from ASIAA. Eno is co-chair of the Galaxy Cluster Working Group. And Yoshiki Toba's name was mentioned already a few times. He's the co-chair of the Asian Working Group, and he is still affiliated. He's a visiting postdoc at ASIAA. And we have been also leading and also participating in the follow-up campaigns of the HTC Galaxy cluster projects. The cluster is discovered by HTC. For example, a collaboration with the Mustang 2 and GBT plus also XXL, this Sneer-Sedovich effect, X-ray, multi-wavelength studies of the galaxy clusters. And also the coordination of the large-scale collaboration with like X-ray consortia, XXL and EOZeta. And I'm leading the frequency mass calibration of the X-ray selected XXL clusters and the group scale. This is kind of a new frontier. And also the Yenting and Wang has been leading their own multi-wavelength efforts. That's really useful for the important needed for the deep ultra-deep layer science and also for the target selection for the PFS. Potential issues, I think I already mentioned for the manpower for issue. So the first point is the too short I cannot pronounce properly, but it means that the time between the internal data release to the public data release, in particular for the PDR2, is almost zero. So this is also damaging, especially the cluster working group, because we need higher order data products like Stellar, very highly well-controlled star mask. So because of that, we have to, our science has to compete with the outside people. But YOFA has been very helpful on conveying our message to the executive board. But overall, the decision of the board is to really to follow the original timeline, because our PDR2 is already was delayed. Computing resources for the OIR executive galactic group is maintained by Baoxing. It's very great and it's very needed for our science, but still the current resources are not enough to really accommodate the usage demand of all the HSC scientists in Asia. Moving on to the PFS, the prime focus spectrograph on Subaru. So it's upcoming. The PFS instrument is being built. It's very successful thanks to the Chinese team effort. And with the first flight expected in 2020, and scientific operation starting probably in the early 22, in 3 years. And this is totally different collaboration scheme based on the large international collaborations. And currently, the Taiwanese community outside Asia is not partners, official partners. Maybe we can negotiate about it. It's very unique specifications using 80-meter telescope Subaru to do the slow-like survey, going further to the higher ratios. And key science has 3 pillars: the cosmology, galaxy evolution, and also the near-field cosmology, or galactic archaeology. And this is the status of instrumentation. This is obviously slide from China. So the big milestone was done last year. The meteorology camera has been shipped into Hawaii, and engineering run has been started, and it's very successful. As you also mentioned, the PFI is this prime focus instrument integration is going on. And I think Shang-Yu and Richard and team is really making great efforts, contributing to this project, instrumentation project. Okay, another thing. Okay, and the project plan to have the whole system integration in the early 2020. And I think Richard is very important for this kind of task. Science status. So the team is planning to have produced the first draft proposing to request 360 nights to the Subaru community. So we have to be very carefully phrase our strategy, defining science goals, etc. So the scientists have been doing great efforts. And also the Asia has been contributing to the PF Cosmology Working Group. Pepe and his postdocs, Aniket, regularly attending the teletoons. The cosmology surveys aim to determine the neutrino mass to high precision, and also the dark energy properties, like equation state parameters, and also some fundamental parameters, the primordial fluctuations, using the 3D galaxy clustering out to the high redshift Z2.4. So this is very unique and complementary to the DESI, which is going wider. So this is very complementary to the previous. The galaxy evolution surveys is also very important science for the ASIAA. But for the target selection, we need a deep near-infrared data. But currently, we have shortage of the existing data. Deep course led by Yenting, UCAT, you double the existing areas, and other near-infrared efforts also they are contributing to that. Going to the Sloan 4, so the manga surveys, Li Hui and other people are really enjoying data and doing the very interesting science. So they are focusing on the very nearby universe to obtain the spatially resolved spectroscopic data to really do the detailed astrophysics of galaxies. This is very good use of the Sloan data instruments. ASIAA joined as an associate international members. With a relatively small investment, we gain great access. And really the experts can do great science. Okay. So like 2 faculty and 3 postdocs joined this survey. So now, the survey entered 5th year, last year of this survey. And they also experienced 3 PDR, both producing the data, reduced data and high-level data products. From this manga consortia, with more than 100 papers have been produced. So I think this is a great achievement. So our people have been very productive, producing the first of the papers constantly every year. I think the last 2 years, 2018 and 2019, Xi'an and Yunhui, so they produced new papers. And I think this was also highlighted in warehouse stores. And another 3-5 papers in progress is really good. And so because we were studying these Green Valley galaxies, and so she is also very active in proposing the follow-up CU observation with ALMA and also the JCMT. So there also the follow-up programs have been very successful, obtaining the ALMA telescope time, and also the JCMT large programs, Jingu 1 and 2, are really very important for liquid science. I think this is great. And this is the last element, the CFHT. So we have been collaborating with CFHT over almost more than 15 years since Chinese involvement with the Wilcam instrumentation. So it has currently 5 instruments. NearCam, Wilcam, it measures both optical and near-infrared wavelength, espasons, spheros, detailed spectrometers, optical and near-infrared wavelength, and snares. These are wide-field IFUs. With 15 arc field, this is really great and unique instrument, and Harvard is really pushing for this science. And, our optical scientists, extragalactic scientists also pushing for this science. So we have access to up to 50 hours. This is about 10 effective nights each semester for this Taiwanese community, not only for Asia. The typical oversubscription rate is low, so it remains low, about 1 to 1 to 1.3. this is not healthy, but we are trying to make best efforts to really have a feedback from the expert referees into the proposal. Yeah. And so to help produce data. Only 2,000 papers published in the last 2 years. We're hoping that more papers will come soon from the large programs like Umetsu, the warehouse project. Yeah, I know warehouse work, working on the producing papers, still large survey programs. And I just saw that Rosemary's paper submitted, so more papers to come. I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much.
When you say the oversubscription rate is low, 1.1 to 1.3 for CFHT, but you actually don't have a fixed amount of CFHT time, whereas that is actually a very flexible amount that's available.
Right.
So the fact that it's low is an indication that all the proposals are good, or that the task is easy with the proposal.
Firstly, the total number of proposals submitted from the Talents Committee is for the several. It's not many. But especially when I'm kind of TAC, but I'm rather conservative. So I don't accept we don't accept all proposals, but we try to bring the feedback. But I also have to mention that recently the CFHT also enforces, specifically say that there's a fixed number of bright nights and also dark nights. And in Taiwan communities, actually, the dark night instruments are more popular. So actually the oversubscription rate for the dark nights is actually much higher. So we can allocate all the proposal time.
So you always have to allocate equal amount of bright nights.
Usually bright nights are much the lower subscription rate, like 50%.
Because if, let's say if you give 10 hours of dark time, you have to, you're going to get 10 hours of bright time whether you want it or not. So
that was possible in the past, but now they have the upper limit on the dark nights from CFHT. So we cannot fully allocate. I just want to, maybe I missed that.
Well, I think we have been discussing about should we remain the same time from CFHT or try to reduce it in our group. So we are going to renew the MOU, so it's likely that we'll try to ask to reduce the number of nights.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that as you mentioned, the involvement of PFS project from the university in Taiwan is quite important. And since now the time you guys are working on the actual program, what to do with the PFS, I think soon the involvement from the university side is better. So I hope I would encourage you to be more aggressive to work on that. And another question is, my question is, what's the involvement of universities for the HSC project? How many actually universities people are actively involved into the HSC project?
I think for the passenger issues, I think there's one paper, first of the papers from the university. One. Yeah. And I think MCU people are quite actively participating. Yeah. And previously, Nobel University people was very active, but as you know, Sebastian left, and lesser people from Nobel University currently. I think also the NTUP's Tomo at Tsinghua University is also using the HSC data, and he's also active. And students of NTU, they also published papers working on the SSP, not only Asia. And for the PFS university collaboration, actual number of PIs only from HIS and small limited. So I think maybe your part, yeah.
So if we use the same rule as the North America or other participants, so all the Japanese, no matter where they are, they have a right to use the Subaru telescope. So we have a lot of Japanese colleagues here. So if we use, so they use the Japanese quota, so they don't take up our quota. So for all the ASIAA people and the university people together, we don't have, so I think we can fill the like 10 slots or something. So I think using those rules, we can include university people. I don't think it'll be any problem. But thanks to our Japanese colleagues here, they are born to have the right to use the agency or PFS.
Yeah, maybe we can move on.
Report on the status of House 2. So you probably know that in the past year we have been installing all the telescopes and several items for the sidewalk that's going to be completed in a very short time scale. The site is almost ready. There is the last part of each enclosure, the sunshade has to be installed. There was some delay due to a problem of updating the road between ASIAA and Yunnan. Sort of delay how fast we can send the money over. But yeah, just final few items that we have to complete in roughly from now on to summer. So this shows just work that's been carried out to complete the foundations. There was some problem when the rain comes and it will wash out part of the foundation. So we'll just reinforce all this sidewalk to make sure that all this transportation and site of the telescope is pretty safe. And for the camera, last summer we delivered this prototype camera. It works well. And this is a small 1K by 1K CMOS sensors. This is just to demonstrate that all electronics works. And then your PGA can work with the sensor architecture. And this is useful for us to test telescope pointing, tracking, and autofocus. And also we can use that to test the robotic operation of the system. And this is the science camera. We populated the first overprint earlier this year. And we have made progress in electronics. We have make sure that right now the noise is very low. It's one electron. And then there's timing issues that we have to adopt faster ADCs and ups to catch up the fast speed of requirement from House 2. So we're now in the process of redesigning the final circuit board, so each of them can control 5 sensors on each side of the camera. In terms of assembly, as I mentioned, we assembled the first focal print earlier this year. And we have tested a high variation among different sensors, and it's around 10 microns. So it's pretty good within the range required to deliver the nice image quality. And right now we are adjusting part of the E straps. Right now when we test the temperature variations about roughly 5 degrees apart variation among the 10 sensors. So we'll try to minimize it so they can sort of be within 1 degree. So as I mentioned, is to complete the cameras roughly in this fall so that we can start to test the full system in the winter. And for the telescope status, after we installed the telescope, we found many two problems. One is the backlash of this driving system. There was some loose screws found in the focus tip tail mechanism, so we fixed that. And right now we have about 10 minutes RMS pointing error. Trying to identify other small problems with a telescope vendor. Should be able to get to 3 minutes pointing error. And then we have been trying to improve the optical alignment of the telescope. In the beginning, when we first see the images, is something like 2 second spots. But after several trials, we were able to find the right collimation, and right now the point spreading function is about 1 second to 1 to 2 seconds. So we need to wait for some good seeing time to improve the point spreading function further. We think it's already close to our requirements. So with the telescope and the prototype camera, one important milestone that we reached in last year. In August, there was a Pluto operation happening at the site. So we catch this event with 20 Hz imaging. We can do the sub-frame readout mode. So this is 10, roughly, this is slightly more because pixel size is smaller for the prototype camera. So this is roughly about 20 by 20 pixels windows, and with making 13 target star, you can usually get a very nice depiction light curve. The chief signal to noise ratio is slightly lower than what we expected. The major one is 27 compared with what we hope 40, because the elevation is very low, about 20 degrees when we had the event, and the combination of the telescope was not very good, as I mentioned. So we expect that with the science camera, we should look to improve the signal to noise ratio to the level that we designed. And in terms of software, the control software we fully tested in last July. Basically, we can remotely control the telescope from the control building, which is roughly about 200 meters away from each of the telescope. And we have the remote operation web page that consists of all the data or status, like the remote console, the telescope status, camera status, tracking information, and the weather data to be displayed in one page so that the operator can easily monitor the whole situation. And for the telescope guiding and tracking, we use the prototype camera earlier this year to make sure that we can select a guide star, we can run all the pointing of all the telescope, select the guide star, and start to operate at the 20 Hz, and then send the central information to the guider, and then adjust the telescope tracking. So this is an image taken during the test run, and it was quite successful. So later on, we'll have to complete a lot of remaining control tasks, including the autofocus, whereas we will need to use the image, the star image, to adjust the focus automatically. There was some algorithm we already have in House 1, we will have to implement it in House 2. And then there's some scheduler, and one thing about the hardware is about the dome shutter limit switch. So the dome we purchased is H-dome. They have minute switch to close, to start the shutter operation. But we need the signal to be integrated into our test system, so we know that whether the dome has been fully closed or it's in different states. So soon, Man is going to SPM in 1 month, and he will complete this part of work. And then the final part is the camera operation, status and control. So we have set up a system in Taiwan, so when the camera is ready, we have all this hardware that can communicate with the camera, like temperature control, the vacuum gauge, and all the electronic status. So it's in addition to the real task to work, there are also a lot of science that's been done with solar system group people, especially our postdocs. So this was a paper published last year, 3 first author paper and 8 author papers, mainly for our collaboration with OSA survey and also the HSC survey. So this is the status for the Taos 2, and this is a movie that was taken just a few months ago to show how this system looks like now. So here is 3 telescopes, and then there's a control building here. So this is taken in February, so still you see snow on the mountain. So that's it for the updates of Taos 2. Any questions? Yeah, so right now we're hoping the camera will be delivered in October, and then, you know, it might be 2 or 3 months for us to integrate everything together, so the operation should be start early next year.
Are there special software or hardware computation requirements for analyzing the data?
So there's already a data reduction pipeline developed by between the team. There was one PhD student working on this. So there's a lot of simulation that's already done. So that part is also in the last stage. So we'll use that to first test the data reduction pipeline with simulated images, and then it should be integrated into our system.
So could you remind me, you're looking at sub-windows from each chip. How many sub-windows are you following simultaneously?
10,000.
Are there any other projects that are going to be able to be done with the data that you're gathering? Have you thought?
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion about variable stars, and also some people is interested to use that to search for exoplanet. Yeah, there are a few ideas.
So that hasn't been organized yet?
We had some early discussions with our Mexican colleagues a few years ago, and our idea is to set up a workshop within a year to discuss about the other science come up with
What's the collaboration effort-wise in the Mexican side and Taiwanese side?
So for this project, I think on Taiwan we are contributing most of the hours, and Mexicans they are contributing on the operation cost and the site preparation. So roughly there's about 9. They contribute about 10–15%.
I don't quite remember the exact timeline from last year, but it appears to me that.
Yeah, last year we said that we hope the telescope should be operational now. There was some problem. First is the telescope was not fully collimated because when the vendor sent us the optics, I think they somehow mislabeled the secondaries. The secondary they have certain orientation and the numbers associated with the primary, but somehow they mess it up, and we have to try another time to figure it out. And also on the camera side, we had some noise problem. So we're trying to minimize the noise because all these sensors, right now always has like 3 electrons, so really we have to beat up the noise coupled into our circuits. So that also delayed the progress.
So the camera, I suppose now the schedule for that to be ready something like September, October again.
Yeah, right.
And so now you expect science operation a few months after that?
Right.
On the time schedule, which was what it was the year before. So it's still sort of like after the camera.
Right, we still need the camera ready before we yeah.
So you expect beginning of next year on a time scale? Or
For the science?
hmm?
You mean for the science?
Yeah.
Yeah, next year. So I think this is time for picture, photo, group photo.
Do you